Emma had always been good at sensing when something in her world shifted, even if nothing obvious happened. On that quiet Thursday night, the shift came like a soft pressure in the errand scene, but impossible to ignore. She felt it the moment she stepped out of her bedroom, planning only to grab a glass of water before bed. Instead, she paused at the top of the staircase of the little house she shared with her two closest friends. The lights in the living room were off, except for a warm lamp, but down the hall. She noticed movement. Her boyfriend Ryan was walking toward Lily's room. Emma slowed, confused. Ryan rarely came by this late, and if he did, he always texted her first. Tonight, he hadn't. She crossed her arms, watching him from the shadows. He hadn't seen her yet. His steps were careful, almost slow, as if he didn't want to disturb anyone. Emma leaned forward slightly. Why Lily's room? At this hour. Lily was her best friend since Kalaja, cheerful, dependable woman who always tried to keep the peace in the house. She wasn't secretive. She wasn't mysterious. But lately, she had been unusually quiet, slipping away the second Emma walked into a room. Emma tried not to assume anything, but watching Ryan now, she couldn't shake the feeling that tonight was different. Ryan looked over his shoulder almost nervously. Emma held her breath. Then Ryan opened Lily's door. He stepped inside. The door closed behind him. Emma didn't move. Her heart gave one hard thump, then another. She wasn't the dramatic type, but the sight unsettled her so deeply she felt it in her stomach. She looked around the dim hall, wondering if she was imagining the tension. But no matter how many ways she tried to explain it, the same thought kept circling back. Why would he go into Lily's room without telling me? She took a slow breath and forced herself to walk to the kitchen. She filled a glass with water, but the coolness didn't help. Her fingers trembled slightly, something she tried to hide even from herself. She paced the kitchen, trying to think clearly. Maybe Lily needed help with something. Maybe Ryan was returning something she borrowed. Maybe there was a harmless explanation. But the way he looked before he went inside, the hesitation. The quick glance felt wrong. Emma set the glass down. Her eyes drifted to the hallway again. A quiet, heavy silence filled the house. She could hear the faint hum of the refrigerator, the ticking of the small wall clock, her own breathing, but no sound from Lily's room. Minutes stretched longer than they should have. Emma checked her phone. 11:08 p.m. He had been in there almost 15 minutes. She bit her lip, debating whether to knock or pretend she hadn't seen anything. She hated jumping to conclusions. She hated the idea of doubting Ryan. And she hated more than anything the sinking feeling of not knowing. Eventually, she forced herself back upstairs. She sat on the edge of her bed with her hands clasped tightly. Her mind raced, but she tried to quiet it by focusing on the small, comforting details of her room, her lavender candle, the soft light of her lamp, the cozy blanket folded over her chair. But none of it helped. She thought about the past week. Ryan canceling their date night twice. Lily avoiding long conversations. The soft tension in the air whenever the three of them were in the same room. At first she thought it was just stress or work. But tonight made everything feel connected. Emma stood up abruptly, unable to sit anymore. She walked back to her door, then stopped again. Her heart felt too loud. She didn't want to create a scene, but she also didn't want to wait for the truth to find her. She had always believed that if something mattered, she needed to face it head on. She placed her hand on her doorknob. Then she heard footsteps slow. Quiet footsteps moving down the hall. Emma stepped back into the shadows of her room doorway. Ryan appeared at the top of the stairs. His head was slightly lowered, and he held something, a small white envelope, in his hand. He hadn't seen her yet. His expression looked heavy, like he was carrying something on his mind. He walked toward the hallway, not noticing her until he got closer. When he finally looked up, he froze. "Emma," he whispered, startled. "I didn't think you were awake." His voice was gentle but strained. Emma's pulse jumped. "I couldn't sleep." Ryan shifted the envelope to his other hand. His eyes flicked away, then back to her face. He looked worried, genuinely worried, but that only made her chest tighten more. Emma swallowed. Her voice came out softer than she expected. "Why were you in Lily's room?" The question hung between them, delicate but full of weight. Ryan opened his mouth, then closed it again. He took a slow breath, looking down at the envelope as if it held the answer. When he finally spoke, his voice was careful. "Emma, I was going to tell you something. Something important. I just didn't want to tell you like this." Her breath hitched. "Tell me what?" He looked toward Lily's closed door for the briefest moment. Emma noticed. The tiny glance made her heart twist painfully. "Ryan," she whispered, "tell me now." He ran a hand through his hair and stepped closer. "I will, but it's complicated. And I should have told you days ago." Her stomach dropped. His tone scared her more than his words. Before he could explain, a voice came from behind Lily's door, quiet, but clear enough to freeze Emma where she stood. "Ryan, is she gone?" Emma's body went cold. Ryan closed his eyes, his shoulders tightening. Lily's voice continued softly, unaware of what she had just caused. "Did she go back to her room?" Emma stared at the door. Her throat felt tight, her thoughts tangled, her breath caught halfway in her chest. Ryan stepped toward her quickly. "Emma, what teach, not what it sounds like." But the damage was already done. The image of him going into Lily's room, the closed door, the silence. And now Lily's voice, it all spun together into something painful and sharp. Emma took a step back, her eyes stinging. "Ryan, what is happening?" Why is she asking that? He reached toward her, but she moved away instinctively. Not in anger, just hurt, confusion, shock. "Emma, please," he said, voice tight with desperation. "Just give me a second to explain." But Emma's heart was racing too fast to let her wait quietly. Her voice trembled as she spoke again. "Explain what?" "That you were in her room. That she thinks I'm supposed to be gone." "Ryan, what am I supposed to think?" Ryan looked torn, really, torn, like the truth he held was something he didn't want to hurt her with. But his silence only made the moment heavier. Lily's door opened slightly. She peeked out, her hair messy and her face soft with concern. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't calm. She looked worried, almost guilty. "Oh," Lily whispered when she saw Emma. "I didn't realize you were up." Emma stared at her, feeling a wave of emotions hit at once: fear, sadness, confusion, something close to betrayal. Ryan stepped between them, raising his hand slightly as if he could soften the moment. "Lily, give me a second." But Emma couldn't pull her eyes away from her best friend. Lily bit her lip, hesitating. Her voice was small. "Emma, I'm so sorry. This must look terrible." Emma's chest tightened further. "Then what is it?" Lily glanced at Ryan, then at the envelope in his hand. Her expression shifted: fear, uncertainty, regret, all tangled together. Ryan finally spoke, voice low. "Emma, I need you to trust me for one more minute, please." Emma felt her breath shake. The house felt too quiet again, holding its breath with her. Everything she thought she knew about this night was unraveling, and the truth, whatever it was seconds away. Emma felt her chest tighten so sharply it was hard to breathe. The hallway felt smaller now, heavier, as if the walls themselves were pressing in. Ryan stood between her and Lily, holding that small white envelope like it contained the answers to a question Emma hadn't even dared to ask. For a moment, none of them moved. Silence hung in the air, thick and impossible to ignore. Ryan finally spoke, his voice low and tense. "Emma, please let me explain. This isn't what it looks like." Emma's lips pressed together. She wanted to believe him, but the image of Ryan entering Lily's room, the closed door, and Lily's voice just moments ago made her chest ache. "Then what is it, Ryan?" she asked, her voice trembling. He looked down at the envelope again. She noticed the way his fingers tightened around it. His eyes darted back toward Lily's slightly open door, then returned to her face. "It's complicated. I should have told you sooner, but I didn't want to worry you until I was certain." Emma's mind raced. Her stomach churned. Her pulse hammered in her ears. "Certain about what?" Lily stepped forward, her expression soft but tense. Her blonde hair fell in loose waves around her face, her eyes glistening faintly. "Emma, I wasn't trying to hide anything from you, she whispered, her voice small but sincere. I just didn't know how to say it. I didn't want to upset you. Emma's brows furrowed. Upset me. About what? Ryan stepped closer, careful not to crowd her. Emma, Lily is moving, he said gently. She got a job offer in another city, Portland. Emma blinked, confusion and disbelief mixing with relief. Moving? That's it. Lily nodded, biting her lip. I didn't want to tell you until I was certain it was really happening. I know it looks bad, but that's all it is. I wasn't hiding anything. Not from you, Em. Emma exhaled slowly, letting a shiver run down her spine. Relief swept over her, but it didn't remove the sting of the fear she'd felt watching him go into Lily's room. Her hands flexed at her sides. She wanted to be angry, wanted to demand explanations. But the truth was simpler and softer than she had imagined. Ryan handed her the envelope. She hesitated for a moment before taking it. Inside was a neatly folded letter, printed on crisp white paper. Lily's name was at the top. Emma unfolded it, scanning the words quickly. The letter confirmed the job offer Lily had mentioned. It was a prestigious position in a company she had dreamed of joining for years. The deadline to accept the offer was tomorrow morning. Emma looked up from the letter, her eyes meeting Lily's. You were scared I'd react badly? She asked softly. Lily nodded, her fingers twisting together nervously. I didn't want you to panic. This house, this friendship, it means everything to me. I wasn't sure how to tell you without making you feel like you were losing me. Emma's chest felt tight again, but this time it was softer, warmer, like the pain of worry melting into the relief of truth. She pressed her hand against her chest. I thought something else was happening. Ryan stepped forward, his voice gentle and steady. Nothing like that would ever happen, Emma. Not with Lily, not with anyone. I should have told you before she asked for my help. I'm sorry I made you doubt me. Emma swallowed the lump in her throat. She had never wanted to doubt him, but fear had crept in before reason could catch it. Seeing him now, earnest and open, the worry in his eyes matching her own, she felt some of the weight lift. She looked back at Lily. When were you going to tell me? Lily took a small step forward and hugged her tightly. Emma returned it, letting herself feel the warmth and sincerity of the moment. Tomorrow morning? After I accepted it, Lily whispered. I know that was wrong. I was scared. Emma rested her chin on Lily's shoulder, letting the tension in her body ease slightly. I'm proud of you. I'll miss you, but I'm proud. A quiet sigh escaped Lily, and she leaned back just enough to look Emma in the eyes. Thank you, Em. That means a lot. Ryan stood nearby, watching the two women. He smiled softly, a mix of relief and admiration shining in his gaze. Emma looked at him, really looked, and saw the care and sincerity in his expression. The fear she had felt earlier, the uncertainty, faded slightly. Emma pressed the letter to her chest. So, you're leaving in 2 weeks. Lily nodded. Yes, I wanted to give everyone time. I didn't want it to feel sudden. Emma felt a bittersweet ache. 2 weeks felt like both a lifetime and nothing at all. She wanted to ask 1,000 questions, to talk about the future, to cling to the friendship that had been a constant in her life. But words failed her. She nodded silently, letting the moment linger. Ryan slipped his fingers through hers, grounding her, reminding her that some things were stable and certain, even in the middle of uncertainty. Let's get through these 2 weeks together, he said softly, his thumb brushing over her hand. All of us. Friends and more. We'll handle it together. Emma looked into his eyes, feeling her chest loosen. The tension that had held her since seeing him enter Lily's room started to fade. She realized how fragile her fear had been and how real her relief was. Together, she whispered. Lily smiled faintly, a mixture of gratitude and sadness. I'll miss this place. I'll miss all of you. Emma swallowed, holding back tears. She had loved this home, loved the routine of shared meals, laughter in the living room, late-night talks, and even the small arguments that felt meaningless in hindsight. But now it was about to change. And that change, while sad, was also exciting for Lily, a new chapter she had earned. Ryan squeezed her hand gently. "We'll make these 2 weeks count," he said. "We'll make memories." Emma nodded, feeling a warmth in her chest that wasn't just relief. It was love, trust, and hope intertwined. She realized that fear could cloud judgment, but honesty and care could heal it. Lily stepped closer, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. I didn't want to hurt anyone. Not Emma, not you, Ryan. I just needed a little time to make sure everything was right." Emma reached out, placing a hand on Lily's shoulder. "You've always been honest with me. I know you didn't mean to hurt anyone. And you didn't. I understand now." The three of them stood in the hallway, the quiet of the house surrounding them, feeling the gravity of the moment. It wasn't dramatic or loud, it was real, intimate, and moving in its own gentle way. Emma realized that sometimes the most painful moments were the ones that tested trust. And that trust could emerge stronger when faced directly. Ryan smiled at Emma, his eyes soft with affection. "I should have explained sooner. I should have been more upfront about helping her. I didn't want to make you worry, but I see now that waiting only made things worse." Emma's lips curved into a small, tired smile. "It's okay. Just don't make me worry like that again." Ryan chuckled softly, the tension in the hallway easing. "I promise." Lily stepped back slightly, still holding the small smile that reflected both sadness and excitement. "I'll leave in 2 weeks, but I hope this doesn't change anything between us. Our friendship means too much." Emma nodded, squeezing her hand. "Nothing can change that, Lily. You're my best friend, always." A silence fell, but it wasn't heavy or uncomfortable. It was the quiet of understanding, of hearts aligned, and of moments shared that didn't need words to be meaningful. Emma realized that this night, which had started with fear and confusion, was ending with clarity, honesty, and an affirmation of love and friendship. Ryan still held her hand, and she looked at him with renewed trust. "We'll get through this," he said. "All of it. Together." Emma leaned her head slightly against his shoulder, feeling the steady rhythm of his heartbeat, and nodded. "Together," she repeated softly, letting the warmth of both love and friendship anchor her in the moment. Outside, the night continued quietly. Inside, three hearts had faced tension, uncertainty, and fear, but had emerged stronger, connected and ready to embrace the future, whatever it might hold. Emma understood that sometimes a small misunderstanding could feel like the end of the world, but honesty and care could turn it into a beginning instead. She glanced at Lily one last time for the night, smiled faintly, and whispered, "We'll make these 2 weeks memorable. I promise." Lily nodded, and Ryan squeezed Emma's hand one more time. The envelope in Ryan's other hand remained a symbol of truth, transparency, and the courage it took to face uncertainty together. And in that quiet hallway, amidst the soft shadows and warm lamplight, Emma felt a surge of emotion, relief, love, hope, and the bittersweet awareness that life was moving forward, gently but inevitably, toward new chapters, new challenges, and new memories. The night had begun with a door closing, hearts racing, and doubt rising. It ended with openness, connection, and the subtle, steady pulse of love and friendship that promised resilience, loyalty, and joy even in the face of change.